Hey, we got the Elephant Room coming up this Wednesday. So what I wanted to do is just take a couple of minutes and walk through what the evening is going to go, what the evening is going to look like, and then talk some about the questions that have come in thus far relating to the Elephant Room. So first, kind of what the night is going to look like. We're going to have a short, probably 10 minutes of time, 6:30 to 6:40, just to hang out. Students might be playing games outside. You can hang out inside with the students. Right after that, right at 6:40. The band is going to be starting Prelude. We're going to worship together tomorrow night. So Lyle's going to be leading with the band. And 6:45 is when worship's going to start. So we need to get all the students into the front of the youth room by 6:45. We'll worship for 15-20 minutes together, and then we're going to jump right into Elephant Room questions. So that'll be two parts. The first half of that time, 7 to 7:20, 7:30-ish, is going to be questions that have already been asked by the students, questions that were written in or texted in or posted on the website. We'll take those questions, and I spent a little bit of time preparing for them. We'll talk about them together, and I'll share a little bit for that 20 to 30 minutes. And then after that, the second half, we'll do a little break, get some snacks, get some drinks, come back together, and that's when we'll handle the text in, write in questions on that night. So anything that's been brought in that evening, we will deal with in that second half from 7:30 to 8 o'clock. So let me share with you a couple of the questions that the students have asked up to this point. So number one, we're going to deal with the question that was asked is, what is Calvinism, what is Arminianism, and which is true? How should I be thinking about them? And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk a little bit about how these two words that we hear, Calvinism, Arminianism, we're going to talk about how they are different ways of thinking about God and man in their relationship to the gospel message, the person and work of Jesus Christ. And they deal specifically with how does salvation come to bear on a human being? How does the gospel and the work of the Holy Spirit come to bear on a human being? And that we're going to talk about how they're conflicting ways of thinking about these things, that they disagree with each other. And then we'll walk through the fact that there is room in the church, in this church specifically, and in the greater church, to disagree over how to understand these things. And that it is good to hold conviction, it is important to have belief, and it's important to show grace in disagreement as well. So we're going to deal with that. We're going to talk about Ephesians 4:4, which talks about this hope that we have. Paul writes, he says, there's one body and one spirit, just as you were called to one hope, which belongs to your call, one Lord, one faith, one baptism. And so the question is, what is this hope that we have? And so what I'm going to talk about is how this hope that we have, this future hope, is bound up in the return of Jesus Christ, in his second coming. How when Jesus comes, he's going to establish his kingdom, he's going to defeat evil, that his reign will extend forever, and that he will bring all believers to himself, and that we will dwell in eternal relationship with him. That is our hope. It is a sure hope that it will happen. We know Jesus will return, and that we know Jesus wins. And so we're going to deal with that in Ephesians chapter 4, and we're going to see that that's a whole New Testament thing, that the New Testament deals with that hope in the same way. The last thing of the questions the students have asked is about Romans chapter 9, which is funny because Denny has been dealing with Romans 9. Last week he was there. This coming week, I think he's going to be dealing with the passage that this question is found in. So the question is, what are the vessels of destruction and the vessels of mercy in Romans 9? So we'll talk about what it means to be a vessel. We'll talk about the wrath of God over sin and over sinners. Talk about the mercy of God found in the person and work of Jesus Christ. We're going to talk about the importance of faith, of trusting in the gospel message. And ultimately, we're going to talk about God's sovereignty over all of these things, that ultimately that God is in control, and that God is the one who calls the shots. And so that's what we're going to do. Those are just 3 questions. We'll probably get a few more texted in throughout the week. As they come, I will send them to you. Be thinking about these. I like it when leaders share on a Wednesday night. So you guys can share stories. Some of these questions might relate to a story that you have. You can share stories. You can disagree with me That's a pretty normal thing for an elephant room. For you guys to say, I'm not totally sure I'm on the same page as Dan. You guys can do that, and I'm comfortable with that. In fact, it's good for our students to see adult Christians handle disagreement, theological disagreement, in a godly way, in a way that's gracious. So feel free. If I say something that you're like, boy, I don't know if I'm on board with that, speak up and say something. It's okay. It's okay. So I want to encourage you guys to speak up throughout the night and share at any point. So that's what the evening is going to look like. Take advantage of the opportunities to hang out, connect with some students. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday. Love you. We'll talk to you later. Bye.